Setting Boundaries in 2026. Prioritizing Self-Respect as a Life Principle Equals. Introduction: Why Boundaries Matter More Than Ever. In 2026, life moves faster than ever before. Technology connects us instantly. Work and personal life often blend, and social expectations constantly demand attention. While these changes bring opportunities and convenience, they also create new pressures on our time, energy, and emotional well-being. Many people feel overwhelmed, stretched too thin, and uncertain about how to protect their personal space in a world that always seems to want more. In this environment, setting boundaries has become one of the most important life skills a person can develop. Boundaries are not barriers that isolate us from others. Rather, they are guidelines that define how we interact with the world. They protect our values, preserve our energy, and help maintain healthy relationships. At the center of boundaries lies a powerful principle: self-respect. When individuals respect themselves, they recognize their needs, honor their limits, and communicate clearly about what they will and will not accept. Self-respect is not arrogance or selfishness. Instead, it reflects an understanding that caring for oneself allows us to show up more authentically and compassionately for others. In 2026, prioritizing self-respect through healthy boundaries is essential for maintaining balance, protecting mental health, and building meaningful relationships. Understanding what boundaries really are? Boundaries are often misunderstood. Some people believe that setting boundaries means pushing others away or becoming emotionally distant. Others fear that boundaries will make them appear rude or unkind. In reality, boundaries are clear expressions of personal limits. Healthy boundaries define what behavior is acceptable and what is not. They communicate how we want to be treated and what we need to maintain emotional well-being. Boundaries also help individuals take responsibility for their own actions and choices rather than trying to control others. There are several types of boundaries people set in daily life. Emotional boundaries, which protect feelings and mental health. Physical boundaries, which define personal space and comfort. Time boundaries, which determine how time is spent. Work boundaries, which separate professional and personal life. Digital boundaries, which regulate technology and communication. Each type of boundary contributes to a balanced and respectful life. The connection between boundaries and self-respect. Self-respect is the foundation upon which boundaries are built. Without self-respect, individuals may struggle to assert their needs or speak up when something feels wrong. They may accept behavior that causes discomfort or harm to avoid conflict. When self-respect is strong, people understand that their time, emotions, and energy have value. They feel confident expressing their needs and do not feel guilty for protecting their well-being. Prioritizing self-respect involves several key attitudes: recognizing personal worth, trusting one's feelings and intuition, accepting that personal needs are valid, understanding that saying no is sometimes necessary. When individuals honor these principles, boundaries become a natural extension of self-respect. Why many people struggle to set boundaries. Despite the importance of boundaries, many people find them difficult to establish. This struggle often stems from social conditioning, fear of rejection, or misunderstanding about the role boundaries play in relationships. Some common reasons people avoid setting boundaries include fear of disappointing others. Many individuals worry that saying no will hurt someone's feelings or damage relationships. Desire to be liked. People often prioritize approval from others over their own well-being. Cultural expectations. Certain cultures encourage self-sacrifice and discourage asserting personal needs. Lack of confidence. Individuals with low self-esteem may believe their needs are less important than others. Habitual people-pleasing. Over time, consistently prioritizing others can become a pattern difficult to break. Recognizing these influences is the first step toward developing healthier boundaries. The cost of not having boundaries. When boundaries are absent, individuals may experience significant emotional and physical consequences. Without limits, it becomes easy for others to take advantage of generosity, time, or emotional support. Common effects of weak boundaries include chronic stress and burnout, resentment toward others, emotional exhaustion, loss of personal identity, decreased productivity, reduced mental health. Over time, these effects can damage both personal well-being and relationships. Paradoxically, avoiding boundaries often harms relationships rather than protecting them. When individuals suppress their needs for too long, frustration builds until it eventually surfaces in unhealthy ways. Healthy boundaries prevent this cycle by creating clarity and mutual respect from the beginning. The benefits of setting boundaries. Establishing boundaries brings numerous benefits that extend far beyond individual well-being. Improved mental health. Boundaries reduce stress by preventing emotional overload and protecting personal time. Stronger relationships. When expectations are clear, misunderstandings and resentment decrease. Greater self-confidence. Expressing needs reinforces self-worth and personal authority. Increased productivity. Protecting time and energy allows individuals to focus on meaningful goals. Better work-life balance. Separating professional responsibilities from personal life prevents burnout. In 2026, when constant connectivity blurs the line between work and personal time, these benefits are more important than ever. Learning to say no. One of the most powerful boundary-setting skills is learning to say no. For many people, this simple word can feel uncomfortable or even frightening. Yet saying no is essential for protecting time and energy. Saying no does not require hostility or lengthy explanations. Often, a respectful and direct response is enough. For example, "I'm not able to take on that responsibility right now. I appreciate the invitation, but I need to focus on other priorities. That doesn't work for me." Clear communication helps others understand limits without creating unnecessary conflict. Over time, practicing this skill becomes easier and more natural. Communicating boundaries effectively. Setting boundaries requires communication that is both respectful and confident. The goal is not to control others, but to express personal needs clearly. Effective boundary communication involves clarity. Be specific about what behavior is acceptable and what is not. Calmness. Deliver the message without anger or hostility. Consistency. Enforce boundaries consistently so others understand they are important. Respect. Treat others with kindness while still honoring personal limits. When communicated well, boundaries strengthen relationships by creating mutual understanding. Boundaries in the workplace. In 2026, many professionals work in hybrid or remote environments where the line between work and personal life can easily blur. Emails arrive at all hours, meetings extend beyond normal schedules, and productivity expectations remain high. Setting workplace boundaries is essential for maintaining long-term career sustainability. Examples include limiting after-hours communication, protecting personal time during evenings and weekends, clarifying job responsibilities, avoiding excessive workload without proper support. Professionals who establish these boundaries often experience higher productivity and job satisfaction. Digital boundaries in the modern age. Technology has transformed how people interact, but it has also introduced new challenges for personal boundaries. Constant notifications, social media updates, and instant messaging can create the expectation of immediate response. Over time, this expectation can become mentally exhausting. Digital boundaries help restore balance. Examples include limiting screen time, turning off notifications during personal hours, setting specific times to check messages, taking breaks from social media. These practices allow individuals to reclaim attention and focus. Emotional boundaries in relationships. Healthy relationships depend on emotional boundaries that protect individual well-being while still allowing closeness and connection. Emotional boundaries involve recognizing where one person's feelings end and another's begin. They prevent individuals from becoming responsible for managing everyone else's emotions. Examples include refusing to tolerate disrespectful language, declining involvement in constant negativity, Protecting personal emotional space during conflict. Maintaining emotional boundaries encourages mutual respect and healthy communication. Overcoming guilt when setting boundaries. One of the most common challenges people face when establishing boundaries is guilt. They worry that protecting themselves may appear selfish or uncaring. However, boundaries do not reduce kindness, they enhance it. When individuals take care of their own well-being, they are better able to support others authentically. Overcoming guilt involves remembering that personal needs matter just as much as others. Healthy relationships allow space for both. The role of self-awareness. Setting effective boundaries requires self-awareness. Individuals must understand their own values, priorities, and limits. Self-awareness can be developed through reflection, journaling, meditation, or honest conversations with trusted friends or mentors. Questions that support self-awareness include: what situations drain my energy? When do I feel most respected? What behaviors make me uncomfortable? What priorities matter most in my life? Answering these questions helps clarify where boundaries are needed. Boundaries as a form of self-care. In modern discussions of wellness, self-care often focuses on activities such as exercise, relaxation, and hobbies. While these practices are valuable, boundaries represent a deeper form of self-care. Setting boundaries ensures that life does not become dominated by obligations, demands, or unhealthy relationships. It protects time for rest, reflection, and personal growth. True self-care involves protecting the conditions that foster well-being. Modeling boundaries for others. When individuals practice healthy boundaries, they also influence those around them. Friends, family members, and colleagues observe these behaviors and may feel encouraged to establish their own limits. In this way, boundaries contribute to healthier social environments. Leaders who model boundaries in workplaces often create cultures that respect balance and mental health. Parents who demonstrate boundaries teach children valuable lessons about self-respect and communication. Growth through boundaries. At first, setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable. Some relationships may resist change, especially if they were built on patterns of overgiving or people-pleasing. However, growth often requires temporary discomfort. Over time, individuals who maintain boundaries experience greater confidence and emotional stability. They build relationships based on respect rather than obligation. Boundaries help individuals become more authentic and aligned with their values. Conclusion: living with self-respect in 2026. In a rapidly evolving world, protecting personal well-being has become essential. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but a commitment to living with self-respect. Boundaries allow individuals to maintain balance, protect mental health, and build relationships rooted in honesty and respect. When people prioritize self-respect, they recognize that their needs, time, and energy matter. They communicate their limits with clarity and kindness. Ultimately, boundaries do not separate us from others. They help create healthier connections where mutual respect can thrive. In 2026 and beyond, the ability to set boundaries may be one of the most powerful tools for living a balanced, meaningful, and fulfilling life.